Hey there and welcome to Tail Slaters, and one question one must ask oneself in one's life is, are you the type of person that wears your own merch? I think we know the answer. While we talk about the original flavor Sidus link, we are going to start by turning everything on, and we're going to do what's known as a Bluetooth reset. Some of you, I assume, are familiar with, some are not. If you have Aputure fixtures at all, this is only going to apply to Aputure fixtures because we're using Aputure specific app meant to work with their fixtures. You couldn't use this, for example, on NAND lights or other things like that that are Bluetooth controllable through their own app. So Aputure only. So go to your Aputure fixtures. I have two Infinibars, and I have two 4 MC puck lights, not the pros, the puck lights, which are Bluetooth only. So let's turn our Infinibar on. What we're going to do is go to menu, and we're going to scroll down to Bluetooth, which is BT settings. In the fixtures that can be DMX controlled, you'll have an option of having the Bluetooth status on or off. If it is off, you simply turn it on. If it's already on, which this one is, go to Bluetooth reset and say yes. If you did have a fixture that was in a DMX mode, it will come out of the DMX mode. It will basically turn the CRMX off by itself, if that makes sense. So we're going to do exactly the same thing over here. We're going to go to the Bluetooth menu. We're going to do the same things with the MC Pros. If you haven't used the MC Pros before, if this is new for you, you've got a little display window. It's got them. Let me take what we call the marshmallow or the diffusion off. It's a different system on the MT Pros. These are cool. It's just tape does not like to stick to these. If you want to tape these to something, they do have little magnets on the back, which is nice. So you can stick them to things that are magnetic, which is cool. Let's leave one with the marshmallow off for now, so you can kind of see inside. And turn it on, little toggle switch. And then basically you have a jog wheel and you have a display LCD window. So if you press and hold the jog wheel for a few seconds, it'll come up to a different menu where you can choose CCT, HSI, FX, and what we're looking for, which is BT or Bluetooth. Use the scroll wheel again to click BT. It's going to ask for BT reset. This is not a DMX controllable fixture, so there is no turning the status on or off. It just always is available. You can Bluetooth reset. It's usually a good idea to do this every time you're doing a production. You can technically set all these and link them to your phone and leave them, but it may lose the pairing. Things can just get funky. I just reset them every time. It makes it a lot easier just to keep things straight, and then you can name them show by show. So now I have updated all 4 of these, and they're in whatever state they were prior on whatever project they were on. Finish stuff, that seems like a good idea for a folder. Sidus link. Let's create a new scene, which is at the top right, the little plus sign. You have the option to create a new scene. You can receive a transfer if you're sharing and collaborating with people. For us, just to keep it simple, today we're creating a new scene. It's going to create a scene. I'm going to give it a default name, and then you can rename it. It's got a little iCloud icon there. It does, excuse me, allergies are acting up today, pardon me. It's got a little cloud there with a little check mark. It's telling you that it is syncing. So it is keeping a version up there in case something. I did just upgrade the firmware on all of these. Once you have these, and I'll show you. Why don't I just go ahead and do things? Why don't I finish what I was talking about and then move on? Scene 5, I'm going to now rename. Let's just call it Tail Slaters. That seems like an appropriate name. Tail Slaters. So of course it doesn't know what that is, so I'm going to say yes and say okay. Now I have a scene called Tail Slaters. Click on it to go in. There's nothing here. That makes sense. I haven't done anything yet. Hit the plus sign at the top right, add new fixtures, or add a wireless device. And this could be like the Sidus one or something similar. Again, just to keep things simple, we're talking about fixtures today. We're not talking about going through a device. We're talking about just going through our phone. New fixtures. So everything should be here. I should see 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and try and set them up all. Let's go ahead and try and set them all up. A lot of times, especially with the MCs, I've been having problems pairing them. It's a good idea to keep your phone close to whatever it is you're pairing, and we're not more than 10 feet away from anything. And it'll go through status. Usually you'll get an idea if it's having a problem, if it starts to get up towards 99%. If the number keeps climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing, and then it's going to get to 99, almost guaranteed it's going to have a failure. So here we are setting up fixtures. This is the third one out of 6 and I'm having a problem. Probably one of these puck lights. So it is possible that they're just getting older. You know, they've seen some wear and tear. A lot of times they live out in the heat. So maybe it's a me issue. Let's see how it does. And again, this one got to 99, which is usually an indicator that it had a problem and that it fails. And so I wonder if 4 out of 6 will be successful. Which will be my guess. Let's see what happens. You can also just, if you want, if you see it get to this 99%, you can just kind of like hard shut off the program and come back in. It will then give you the option, the fixture will still be there to try and pair to. Often cases, resetting the Bluetooth can solve the problem. So two were successful, 4 failed. Starting off great. Okay, like I said, these are older fixtures. I'm now starting to question the intelligence of using older fixtures to do this demonstration. I mean, it really should work. There's really no reason. There's no reason why it should not work. The MC, wow. So 2 of the MC puck lights were successful, and everything else failed. Okay, yeah, was not expecting that. I always like trying to do short, little, succinct tutorials. You know, just something to get in and get out, get you guys information and not blather on. And of course, stuff like that has to happen. So let's just try the Infinibars by themselves. The first one seemed like it got through very quickly. Second one's getting to 99 again. Yeah, okay. I am gonna check after this, and if so, I'll include it. I'm gonna check and see if possibly there's a new version of the app or something. Okay, so one Infinibar made it, and one did not, for whatever reason. And here I am controlling it. Isn't that special? Okay, so let's just try the Infinibar. If this doesn't work, we'll try repairing it. I always want to say repairing. Repairing. Pairing successful. So this time it worked for one reason or another. Let's try the puck lights. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and rename these just for my own sake. And we'll call it, since these are in an order that makes sense to me, I want to call it MC1. The main thing I want, we'll show this first. This is something cool, and you may have already seen it or used it. And if not, if you didn't know it existed, it's a cool thing. I'm not putting this in a shape. It would be more helpful in a shape, but I did not purchase the hardware that lets you connect one to the other. I may someday. It is a pricey item in the world. It has some cool things in it, but it's like, how often am I really going to use this? So it had different shaped connectors for these pieces. They had them with the power pass through. I'm sure they probably have passive ones now. But anyway, where you can make a triangle, you can make a square, you can make a hexagon. I think I said it before. Or you could also just make like a big straight line. You can make several big straight lines if you wanted to. So start with a shape. And these are the options you have. So this is the magic infinity effects. So you can make a line, you can make a triangle, you can make a square, you can make a hexagon, star shape, or just kind of like flux capacitor, if you know what that is. Again, going with the references, or this little like almost plus sign. Let's do a line. Let's just do a line, make it easy. 8 foot length, 8 pixels, 1 foot. So we want to make this 8 feet long because we've got 2 Infinibars working. And I think you can drag, I can't remember if you can just, oh, you can also just use the plus signs. I think that's what I normally do. Just because, so you get up to 8 feet, hit confirm, and you can see it's growing. You can also use your 2 fingers here to make this bigger. I didn't realize that for the longest time. I'm like, I wonder if I could zoom in. You can. This might also be easier on an iPad. I don't know why I'm not using the iPad, but I guess because I'm always using it on the phone, I might as well show it the way I use it. Confirm. And even, I think this is new, because I think probably a lot of people didn't realize it. All right, so in this, there's only certain fixtures you can use in the Magic Infinity, and the puck lights are not one. Maybe the MT Pros you can, but these you cannot. This is meant more for things like this to build shapes out of, so it makes sense. So basically what we want is we want to fill up 4 of these with 1 bar, and 4 of them with the other. So if my memory serves, select the fixture. Okay, so you're going to select Infinibar right, and let's make that the first one. So you can pretty much click anywhere in the first 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to take that. And as soon as it does that, if you do zoom in here, it does update the name to whatever you have it. I call it Infinibar right, and it's giving you the indicator of which direction it's currently going. So if you're making a shape that you want to be continuous, you can make sure the direction is correct. So let's choose Infinibar left, and we'll choose the other one. So right now, they're both going up. So this would be cool if that's what you want. It is a line. Now, we are trying to make a line. Now, in theory, the line should be continuous. So if you had these together, maybe we'll do that at a certain point. We'll just put them together. Yeah, we'll probably do that. For now, let's make it, so yeah. I'm gonna change this. So I think, no, that's right. You can undo it. I didn't realize you can, but you can undo it. Infinibar right, Infinibar left. So this stage is basically just saying which fixtures are which. I believe the next stage is when you confirm orientations. All right, so now you get to a screen which is doing what you would expect. It is telling you which direction it thinks it's going. So if these were lined up as it is, but you know what, why don't we just do that? I think I'm making this more confusing by keeping it different than what you're seeing on the phone screen. Let's put it down here if I can fit it. All right, so you can see it is continuous. It is going the direction you would want. I'm confusing myself by looking in the monitor and it's going, all right. But if you wanted, you can change. You can say, oh, no, I'm wrong. This one should be the other way. Or you can do something practical like actually flipping it. However, if you already have it rigged up in some sort of a system and it's built in, you don't want to have to go and take everything apart and flip around your one bar. You can just tell it, oh, I was wrong. Please tap the fixture that is pixel moving direction is not the same as animation shown for adjustment in direction. I think that is the weirdest wording I've ever heard in my life. Please make sure directions on all fixtures follow the animation. So I think, let's say, if you click this one, oh, please tap the fixture. Oh, okay. So, and it did do it. I didn't realize, I'm looking here. So I tapped the one and now I was telling it, oh, you're going wrong, which is incorrect. I've now made it wrong, but I was just trying to show that by clicking it, I told it to reverse itself. Now, if I click it again, it should right itself. And now it's going to do that. And don't worry about it not being like continuous yet. It should be. When we're done, it should be, because there's only 2 bars. But the idea is that if you have a pattern going, that it continues over this like it's a bridge. And it doesn't stop and then go. So let's see. So perfect, done. It's initializing, yada yada, okay. Right now, let's just start with something super simple. It's defaulting to rainbow. I'm not gonna do anything else other than hit play. And let's see if it looks like a rainbow. And let's see if it looks continuous. And I wonder if the intensity is too high. Let's bring the intensity down. Maybe even more. What if we turn it off? Just turn it up to like 1%. All right, so trying to gauge it on the monitor there. It looks continuous to me here. In other words, the rainbow is not getting interrupted as it's heading this way. It's one rainbow, if that makes sense. It's one rainbow passing along. And that's the idea with this program. You can do, like I said, triangles, you can do squares. This one is a line just for the sake of our space and how much room we have. Let's go ahead and stop that. What if we do something else? All right, so anyway, so now let's move from rainbow to integral control. Let's go to color. Right now it's set to a static color, which is pretty damn boring. And it is nice, it does give you like a little idea up top of what it's doing. So this is more of a gradient color. You know what I also wonder? I took right and left. I think I may have put like right and left on the wrong sides. So it does give you direction, but I think this is also for if you wanted to make freaking magnets, man. I need a place to sit because co-host decided to come back as he does. You know, and then of course I have to remove this because this doesn't feel right anymore. It is a sign of honor, but I think there's an age limit for when that's appropriate. I don't know. So yeah, the camera cut because I forgot, the A7S Mark II has a 30-minute limit. I can't pass the display info over HDMI. So I can't even see, I can see the monitor, which I did now mount above the lens. So I'm at least looking in somewhat the right direction. But I don't know if it cuts. So back in integral control, hit play, right? Yeah, okay, so now it's going to settle. And I think we are in the right order. So my right and my left is correct. far as I can see. So it is now like one continuous thing, which is nice. Because if you have 3 or 4 or 5, 6 of these, or if you like, you know, double them up and have 2 separate ones and make a shape like that, I think that's pretty cool. Because you can make something that continues across fixtures. I think this is, what did we do? Okay, we did the pixel move, which we probably missed all of because the camera stopped rolling. We'll go ahead and hit play and see what we start with. Yeah, things are connected correctly. I don't quite understand the gap, as I was saying before, and again, probably missed it. This is a 48 pixel fixture, if I'm remembering right. So I would think with a length of 12 pixels, the length being the color that you see, quote unquote, moving. The background, now the default background color is like basically nothing, it's black. Or I think intensity was just at 0. This is the default. If you just come into Magic Infinity and start screwing around, the default for the background is black, which makes sense, I think. And so going back to, so now if I change the length from, let's say 12 to 9 or whatever, this is the color that you quote unquote see moving. And you can change the color here if you want. Red, let's just do like a blue or something. Intensity, let's come down some just so it's not so whited out. What did I do? Oh, I did that again. I went to gradient. I didn't mean to go to a gradient, but I did. Color. So you can do a gradient color here too. Let's just do that. Why not? Okay, so blue. Let's do like 2% red. Let's come down to like. I'm using the minus sign instead of the. So it is now it's a gradient that's moving, which is pretty nice. I like it. Yeah, and I do like the little visual representation. Again, I'm sure it's probably a little easier to see on an iPad. But as I was saying initially, if you come back out, if you go into background color and you don't want it to be black, you can make it. Let's say we had it set to green. We'll leave it as green. I'll just bring the intensity up a little bit. And now the background is just always something, and the other colors are moving over it, which is neat, right? I told you you'd have to have that on silent, and you just chose to ignore me.
Whoa.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, trying to be cute, that doesn't work. Advanced moves. We have intensity, we have length, pixels. Everything seems to be moving the right. And here you have control over color, the background color, the length, and a feather, which I think is kind of obvious. Feather between. Let's take the feather all the way off. And again, the visual indicator at the top is just pretty super helpful. I think on an iPad, like I said, would be better. You can't zoom in on these, which would be nice if you could. But again, I like to whine. We could just spend time doing a bunch of crazy shapes and stuff, but I really think that's just kind of up to your imagination. I think in case anything else got cut out, just notes is that when you're daisy chaining things together, they do now make a passive connection between the two. I don't know, and I'll look it up and probably put it here. If there's a kit now. The kit that they used to sell before was not terribly cheap, and it also had the power pass-through, so you had to be cognizant of that, about how much, because once you had it together, basically, then you were stuck. It's, you couldn't charge one without charging the others. And if you're trying to run something that's all day, that's a problem, depending on what percent you have. And I don't know about you, but I always like to have everything plugged in that can be plugged into hard power, because you don't have to worry about it. Anyway, again, we're going off on slight tangents. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for joining Tailslaters. This has been some Bluetooth options with Aputure fixtures on your phone, going back to 1992. I don't know. I'm just trying to make a joke about going back from DMX to something that is a little more simple and something that is more readily available, doesn't require as much gear, and is fairly reliable for things that don't. It's fairly reliable for things where the world won't crash on your head if it doesn't work. You and your Minecraft. We said it would be on quiet, and you're not.
It's not.
No, I know it's not.